Council, and it is my pleasure to welcome you here today. We appreciate your interest and your willingness to be involved, and I am certainly hopeful that by the end of the day today, you will be committed to even more involvement. Housing is an issue that impacts us all, and if you haven't been impacted directly by it, you probably have friends and neighbors or extended family that have been, and of course our local employers and employees are impacted by it. Having housing that is accessible to our residents is key to a healthy community. So it doesn't affect just our individuals, but I think it also affects our communities. We want the people that work in our communities to also be able to live in our communities and to actually be a part of those communities, supporting neighbors and being volunteers in the community and being part of programs that are happening in the community. We want a diversity of age groups and incomes. Also, I think part of the charm and the traditional building of every part of our county is that we have had a mix of small and large homes, often sitting side by side. And I love that. I just think that's a really neat part of our community. But we are a tourist area and conditions have started to change, and we do have a challenge now with a situation in which many of our citizens are priced out of our housing market. Even our small homes are out of reach of many of those who want to live and work here, and our rental options are limited. So this is our challenge, and working together throughout our county, I believe that with a multiplicity of approaches that we can tackle this issue. We already have some successes, and many people are stepping up and making good things happen. We have a great start, and I know that we can thoughtfully and strategically work through our housing issues. So it's great to see all of you here today, and I want to get us started by first having our elected officials stand and recognize them. So, yes, we have a number. And thank you for caring about housing. And I would also like to have members of our HPAC stand. This is a county-wide group that originally started to get a study and an analysis of our housing needs done. And out of that, of course, came some data that we can really rely on, and also a list of priorities. And so the HPAC has been continuing and working on those priorities. We have some guests, I think, too, from out of the county here today. Autumn Dever, I'm not sure if she's arrived yet, from the UAA COG, and a group from Leadville. So thank you for joining us today. And I would also like to give a special thanks to Mount Princeton for giving us this wonderful facility to use today for our meeting. And so to actually get us going here, I would like to introduce Brandy Ritter, the administrator for the town of
So I just want to say welcome to everybody, and Mount Princeton, I'd like to thank you as well for hosting us here today, this morning. It's beautiful. I know it was pretty frigid this morning, but it's still always beautiful in Chaffee County, especially in Mount Princeton. As it was mentioned, a lot of really great work has been done to support affordable housing in Chaffee County. We're moving a lot of things forward. I know the HPAC group, as well as community partners and the local governments, we've all been very involved in trying to move initiatives forward. But, just to kind of step back, why are we here today? It is for affordable housing. It's been a conversation that has been ongoing for many years, predates me, and we're at a point now where we're kind of at a critical juncture in Chaffee County in terms of affordable housing. It's impacting our communities, it's impacting economic development, it's impacting the quality of life for the residents in Chaffee County. Affordable housing, it's a broad topic. It includes many elements. It includes workforce housing, it includes senior housing, assisted living, low-income housing. So we're talking about all forms of affordable housing today. We're also talking about the impact on affordable housing in our communities, impacting the quality of life. We want to keep our folks here. We don't want them to have to commute. It's part of the quality of life. People move here to be in Chaffee County. We'd like them to stay in Chaffee County. We're here to discuss what we can do in our communities to facilitate affordable housing. We'll hear a lot of ideas. We'll be sharing best practices, especially from some of the guests that we have here today. We'll also talk about what's already been done in Chaffee County. I know that in Buena Vista, we've done some things, Poncha Springs, as well as the city of Salida, as well as Chaffee County. And also I want to recognize Habitat for Humanity, who's been working on affordable housing for a long, long time in Chaffee County. So we're going to be talking about what's already happening. We need to celebrate our successes because this is a very, very hard policy problem to solve. So it's ongoing, we can make dents in it, but we are on the right track. We do have some guests here, like I said, from Eagle, our neighboring communities, to talk about best practices. The good news is that we're not the first community that's talked about this. We're not the only folks that struggle with this. This is a statewide issue, and it's different on the Front Range versus the mountain communities, and we have a lot of really good examples to learn by. So we'll be leaning quite a bit on our partners and neighbors to help us with this issue. I know we talked a little bit about the Chaffee County Housing Needs Assessment. That is a great document. If you haven't read it, I encourage you to read it. It lays out a really good framework for what Chaffee County can do to begin to solve our problems of affordable housing in our communities. That is the blueprint, and I definitely want to thank the jurisdictions as well as HPAC for putting a lot of hours and putting funding into updating that assessment. We have really good data, and it makes a lot of really great recommendations on how to implement affordable housing. So today I encourage you to, as we're moving through the panels this morning and going into our breakout sessions this afternoon, I encourage you to move affordable housing initiatives forward in Chaffee County. It's critical and it's part of the quality of life of Chaffee County. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's sessions. I'm particularly excited about it, and definitely want to move into action and see some of these great ideas become reality for our community. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and introduce Dan Cooper, the president of Habitat for Humanity. Thank you.
Thank you, Brandy. I just got promoted. I'm actually a board member of Habitat. That's because my wife said, either you get on the board of Habitat along with me, or else we will never make 50 years. I joined the board, and we're 2 weeks away from 50 years, so I think we got it. Actually, Dale Shoemaker is the president of the board of Habitat, and I will let him introduce himself. But I also want everybody to introduce one another for 2 reasons. Number one, some of us don't know one another. And number two, some of us are so old that we probably met you yesterday and we have forgotten your name. So, Randy, why don't we start with your table? We know you. Mark, why don't you just stand up, introduce yourselves, why you're interested in this session today, and then we'll just work our way through the tables.